Okay, Agincourt, making a little video for you to make it easier to understand what's going on with the car. So I'm going to hold down the OK button, and then I'm going to power up the car. So I need to put my foot on the brake, push this power button. Okay, now I'm holding the power button. I'm waiting with the OK button. And okay, you see the ET screen in the corner there. It says 29% charged. And then I'll hit OK, and that'll go away. That shows my acceleration. So the range is showing as 623 miles with 10 miles on battery. Now it's 79 degrees outside or in the garage. This is a scan gauge. This is kind of interesting unit you should have. Very nice to have. I don't know if you can read it. Let's see, we can. Okay, it's kind of focusing in on it. So you can see its state of charge is 42.8%. That's the 29% that it shows in the car. The battery draw is 1.3 amps. Fan is not running, the high voltage battery fan, and the temperature of the battery is 78 degrees. And there's a lot more options here, but we'll talk about that another time. So in this screen, engineering screen, there's the analog test. This lights up all the lights. That shows you part numbers. This is like a manufacturing date. This is any codes that are set in the car. That's your vehicle speed in kilometers and miles, and also shows the RPM, which you can see by changing the My View screen if you want to see the RPM thing. This is the fuel. So I filled the car yesterday and it shows 1,004. That means it's completely full, the tank. Okay, that's the display. Distance to empty. So you see kilometers is 999. That's the maximum it can show. But miles is 623, which is showed here. And then you can go in this screen and under the general, miles to kilometers. Okay, now you go back here. Now it shows 999 range in kilometers and also 15 kilometers in battery. So that's what that's showing. Go back here, kilometers, back to miles. And now it's 623 miles for gas and 10 miles for battery. Okay, so that's what that screen is. And then go to the next one. That's the RAFE, running average fuel economy. 5.2 liter per 100 kilometers, or 44.5 miles per gallon, or 18.9 kilometers per liter. If you take 44.5 and you multiply it by 14, which is what the gas tank size is, you will get this number, 623. That's how the car is calculating the range, based on this number. And this number changes on how you drive. It changes every day. If you drive on the highway, I just came back from a trip from New York. That's why it's lower. I got 44.5. If I drive in the city all the time, I can get it up like you in the 50s. Because the engine doesn't, it operates a little bit more efficient at slower speeds than higher speeds with more drag. Okay, so this is, I don't know, some more information. I'm not exactly sure what this is. S0 on off, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what this is. That's the coolant temperature, 24 degrees. That is basically the temperature of the radiator. And you can get that here too by pushing this button to change all the displays. That's the tire pressure, number 3, number 2, number 1. Oil life monitor, 97%. I changed my oils at 40,000 miles. Internal temperature is 80.6 in the car right now. Transmission fluid temperature, kilo up to empty on the battery. Mean battery voltage, it's 4.1 is maximum fully charged. Variation 0.44%. Voltage between the cells is 0. Average voltage of the cells is 3.64. There's 84 cells, and they are 25 amp hours each. Age of the battery is 26 months. That's the total voltage of the battery. So you're multiplying by 84 cells times 3 point whatever the voltage was. And that's the temperature of the battery. That's the state of charge. That's the amps. You can select all these four. You can select them different screens. This is the horsepower on the engine. I'm not sure what CPM is. That's the volt of the 12 volt battery. It's charging right now because the car is powered on. Otherwise it would be 12 point something. This is the intake temperature, air intake temperature for the engine. It's 83 degrees. That's temperature inside the garage here. Sorry. I'm not sure FPR is. That's gallons per hour being burned when the engine's running. Ignition timing on the engine. Load on the engine. Open or closed loop if it's cold or hot. Manifold pressure. Miles per gallon on the engine. Miles per hour on the car. RPM on the engine, so you can get the RPM here too. Throttle position sensor, the more I step on the gas, the number changes, and then less it goes back to this 18. That's the water temperature, so that says it's 75 degrees, which is about the 24 that's showing there. Radiator temperature. This is time since ignition on. It's been 5 minutes. That's the percentage of the battery, 42%. Average, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe average fuel economy. This is, I'm not sure what TFC is. Charge point limit, that's 35 amps maximum. And back to the fan speed. That's all the screens in this thing. It's pretty cool. You really should have one of these things. It's called Scan Gauge 2. Okay, so let's go back here. Trip A, this is my last trip. I've gone 653 miles or 1,000 kilometers. And trip B, that's the other trip meter. And this is how many gallons I burned. 11.95 gallons of gas or 45 liters for trip A. And that's for trip B. And there's your battery. Your 12 volt battery is charging. Remember we said that's a compass. This is we're heading northeast. And this is your dimmer step. The more you increase the light on the dashboard, the dimmer goes up, brighter. And if you reduce it, it goes dimmer. That's what that number 8 means. And then dim gauge pointer, I don't know. And these are other information. This has to do with switches, I think, or something. I forget what it does. It has to do with switches or something. And this one has to do with switches. Yeah, when you push the switch, see that it's... Whoop. So, yeah. And this is right-hand switches. So if I push on the right hand, left, right, up, down. Yeah. And then back to engineering mode. So that's that screen. And then when you get out, you just hold the OK button with your finger, and it clears out. Okay. And that's my average since I reset it. Here's my fuel economy, about 37 miles per charge on the battery. In the summertime is much better than wintertime. This is my last trip, 54.6 miles per gallon. I use about 4 or 3 battery charges. It's about 5.5 per battery charge, kilowatt hour. Those are my screens. Okay, so hope this helps you. And I'll power the car back off now. What else? I'm going to show you something. Oh, if you look here, I know I mentioned something that might be confusing. You see the battery shows it 29%, but this thing shows it as 42%. It's a different number because this, hard to see it. Here we go, 42.2. It's because it doesn't let it drop below 16. Like when this says 0, that thing will say 21 and it won't drop below about 15. You can go as low as 14.5 if you empty the hybrid battery completely. But so that when this is 0, you still have a full hybrid battery. Then it goes, actually this number goes to 99% and starts dropping down on the hybrid all the way down. So it resets to 100% when the main battery is empty. So, okay. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you. I'm going to power it off. And it just says, your driving style, blah, 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 your climate control use. And yeah, that's something new with the 2017 model. Okay, so it's a little long video, but I hope it's helped you understand everything better. All right.